Good evening, Region. Hello to Independence, Johnson County, Tipton Correctional Facility, and those watching online. Yes, welcome. I'm still optimistic after the game. Wow, Buffalo was good. But here's the deal. My grandson, who doesn't love sports that much, but plays on a flag football team, and they won their Super Bowl, so that's all I cared about. So it was good. Yeah. Asked to be in prayer for me. I'm going to be gone the next 2 weeks. Get to go to Egypt and Lebanon. It's pretty cool looking at training Arabic-speaking counselors to the Muslim communities around there based on trauma because of all the displaced people. So just be in prayer, excited about doing that. So the question I'm going to ask tonight, and it has to do with my story a little bit, but I'm going to kind of interweave it through the sower and the seed, what I've been speaking on. And it's this question that I'm going to have: what is a fruitful life? And the reason I was thinking about this is we talk about fruit in church a lot. What's your fruit? Fruit in the Bible, fruit of the Spirit. You'll know them by their fruit. But I started thinking, how would you really, in one sentence, quantify or describe what does that mean? What is a fruitful life? And I could name the fruit of the Spirit, or I could do something like that, and they're all a part of it. But I just kind of want to walk you through this as I finish up this thing on the parable of the sower and the seed. I went and saw my dad this last week. I don't get down there enough. I'll practically go down there again this weekend. Enjoy it. He enjoys me being there, loves it. I can tell the joy it fills up inside of him. Of course, my mom has written my name down for him to put in his wallet so he can remember it. So he looks across at me. He knows I'm his son. He tells me the stories that you can remember from long term because all the short-term memory goes with Alzheimer's. But the reality is, I look at his life, and without a doubt, I can say my dad's had a fruitful life, more so than I have. And so I think we know intuitively, scripturally, it can't be money, how much money we made, or how much stuff we have, or status. I think we know intuitively that's not a fruitful life. Technically, it could be offspring. I get that. Be fruitful and multiply. Here come babies. I get that. My dad has 3 children. I'm one of 3, the middle. So yes, he's fruitful in the sense that he had offspring. He gave birth, and there's a sense that's scriptural. But as I go through this, I want you to think of, perhaps why you're in Region. And what is the ultimate goal? Because it's more than sobriety. It's more than overcoming a stronghold. It's got to be more, okay? And I think we know that. So the series is stepping through the Gospels. Region's a 12-step program. My past struggles, control, anxiety because of the control, sins of self-protection to medicate, compartmentalize my life, heavy bouts of cynicism. And so Region's a process that most of us are going through right now. So step 11 has kind of been where I landed for this entire series, intimacy. And I think that has a lot to do with fruitfulness, not just with offspring and reproduction, but that's kind of the word that captures it. We seek to deepen our relationship with God daily and depend on His power to do His will. So I'll read you a verse, or have you read it on the screen here in a second, but basically the parable of the sower and the seed is a story Jesus tells, told it on numerous occasions. And basically the metaphor is simply there's a sower, Jesus, sows seed. The seed is the word of God, the message of the kingdom, and it lands on ground. And the ground is hearts, the hearts of men. And then stuff grows or doesn't grow, or it grows for a while and dies. And that's kind of the analogy he goes through. So I want to leave you with this before we jump in. And I'm no agrarian. I am not. I mow my lawn. That's about it. With my battery-powered electric mower, I don't even have to have oil or gas in my garage anymore. That's who I am. Okay. Here's what I want to tell you, and this isn't on a slide or anything because I added it. Here we go. Good ground naturally grows stuff. It's made to do that. It'll grow stuff by accident. Sit out and spit enough watermelon seeds and you're going to have some what? Watermelon. It's a living ecosystem. And so is your heart. well, I need to make my heart better or get some heart steroids or something like that. No, your heart will naturally grow some stuff if stuff doesn't get in the way. So Matthew 13, this is the good ground at the end, and I'll do a review of the other three, but I want to read this. But he who receives seed on the good ground, that's a good heart, is he who hears the word and understands it, who indeed bear fruit and bears, some 100, some 60, some 30. So crops, fruit. So the reality is, what is good ground? You hear the word, you understand it, and you're going to produce some stuff. Now, when you think of all the analogies of fruit, and I was going to get too deep for a 15-minute talk. So I just said, let's look at every time fruit's mentioned in just the Gospel of Matthew. That's where you'd start with Bible study. And by your fruit, you'll know them. Do they show fruit of repentance? The sower and the seed? So basically, the idea in the Bible is fruit shows what's on the inside. So you know it's an apple tree because there's an apple hanging on the tree. That's an apple tree. So you could tell what kind of ground or tree or whatever it is based on the kind of fruit it produces. But that doesn't really tell us a lot about what the fruit is. It just says what's fruitful in your life will show you what's on the inside. Another place that's very famous is in Galatians. It says the fruit of the Spirit. Love, joy, peace, gentleness, goodness, faithfulness, meek, temperance, kindness. Against such there is no law. Meaning fruit would be the fruit of the Spirit in your life. So do you have love? Do you have joy? Do you have peace? And that's definitely a big part of it. But I want to give you something at the end, keep you a little bit in suspense, okay? But how would you get to that? So I will say this. The first thing is knowing your heart will naturally produce some good stuff. So first of all, defining a good heart is just what it doesn't have. So by way of review, the first bad ground was called the wayside. And it's kind of like a beaten path. So the seed gets there, it's just hard, nothing ever grows. And we talked about that in weeks past. It doesn't mean like I'm mad at God, and I'm flipping him off, and I'm rebellious, and I joined the atheist club in middle school just so, whatever that was in middle school. It's not that. It literally means, that word understanding means you lack really perspective and discernment we talked about. It's like, hey, do you think you need regen? No. You're not mad at God, you just might not have any what? Discernment. Hey, you thought about going through regen? How long is it? Well, about 9 months. Nope. Well, it takes a while to change. Nope, I should be able to do it in about 9 minutes. You might not have a lot of perspective on things. Fair enough? Well, I'll do regen. I'll just do it alone. I don't really need people. It's not that you're mad at God or an agnostic. You just kind of don't realize, God made you to need some people. And even if you didn't believe in God, you're a part of something called the human race, and your species kind of needs other people to reproduce. It kind of is science, The reality is you just don't have that. So a good heart means you would have those things. Next one would be this, stony. And that's, I'm excited, I'm going through with something, but then either persecution or tribulation comes. It's hard. I was joking with my wife one time. It was the first of the year, and we went to the gym. And, she just said, check. One time. It's kind of a joke. New Year's resolution. Everyone starts something. People ask all the time, will regen help? If you finish it. A lot of people start stuff. When do we quit stuff? When it gets what? Hard. That's the stony ground. Can you persevere? Can you do something when it's hard? Then was the thorns. This was the trickiest one because, get this idea of there's thorns down there choking, the roots coming up there with ghost face on, from Scream and, getting you like that. And you think, but that's not what it means. It means other stuff's growing in your garden and it just sucks all the water, the nutrients, the sun, to where the good stuff can't grow. And that was what you're worrying about and your anxiety. It was kind of the cares of this world, riches, materialism. It's not that these things are choking. It just means when you focus so much on those things, there's not a lot left to go to the good stuff. Does that make sense? Yeah. So how often does worry preoccupy ourselves? It preoccupied me my whole life. I don't have to be a counselor to self-diagnose myself. I still wake up at 3 a.m. What is that? Well, anxiety. Why don't you do something about that? Regen 4 times. I'm trying, but I'm just saying... I don't try to worry about something. I don't try to be obsessed about something, but boy, does it take my thoughts, obsessively. So what's the good ground? Well, first of all, it's not those things. So here we go. He hears it and understands it. It displays an understanding and an obedient reaction. The Bible says all the time, he who has ears to hear, let him hear. It just means you're going to do something with it. So it's that idea. So I'm just going to reverse the other three, and I'll tell you what a good heart is. So if you want to approach regen, your heart can change. But here's the kind of heart you need. Number one, you need a heart that has discernment and perspective. To be discerning. Should I hang out with this person or not? Is this a good influence in my life? Should I quit? You know, we were talking tonight at our leaders meeting. So I'm just going to throw it out there to help. Do you have discernment to know you're the one in the group that never speaks up, and you need to? What you have to say is important. You should share it. That would be discernment. Do you have discernment to know when you're judging other people in your group? Do you have discernment to know when maybe you're talking so much you don't give other people an opportunity? You know what I mean? It's what? Discernment. It's perspective. You know, I started Regen and I quit. Start again. Oh no, I'll fail again. No, you won't. A lot of people start and fail and start again. It's kind of life. Start again. Perspective. Next, you have a heart that has endurance. It's not the stony ground. Will it be hard? Yep. I did a video this morning for all the leaders in Regen. I just shoot it, kind of these little 15-minute deals for our leaders. It was on conflict resolution. This is going to be real quick. I shouldn't even do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. In the process of discipleship, when you get to the very end, as Jesus made disciples, John 13 through the book 21 is the last week of Jesus' life. Most of Luke's the journey to Jerusalem. He really deals with three big things. One, you're going to have opposition because they're all going to be martyred. So how to deal with that. The other one was you're going to go cross-cultural and take Christianity to the whole world and cross nations. That was two. Here's the third one. Hey, don't fight with each other. What? Yeah, I'm going to wash your feet. Hey, wash each other's feet. Why? You won't want to. Hey, by this all men will know you're my disciples if you love each other. Well, of course we're going to love each other. We've been here for 3 years. No, you really won't. Or you need to abide in me. Well, abide means my personal relationship with God. No, not so much. It means after I leave, do what I told you, which means love each other. Well, we're going to do that. Probably not so much. Then he prays, John 17, he says that they would be one. Well, we're going to be unified. We've been with you 3 years. Not so much. At the very end, after Jesus is resurrected, he's talking to Peter and John, and Peter's like, hey, what's going to happen to John? Hey, what's that to you? You need to follow me. Did they really have trouble getting along? I don't know. Apostle Paul, the greatest Christian, fired John Mark from being a missionary. Ouch. Canned him. He ran off with Barnabas, and Paul took Silas. They said the contention was so great between them. You say, why do you go through all of that? You know why we have struggles with other humans? We're human. It'll get hard. Someone will offend you. Someone won't do what you want. You'll be mad at your region leader. Newsflash, they'll be mad at you. All the region leaders will be mad at each other. They'll be mad at the pastors. The pastors won't admit it, but we're mad at you. We can't admit that because you actually pay us. So, we keep that to ourselves. But the reality is, it gets hard because we all end up what? Fighting with each other. I got news for you. It's not the world, the flesh, or the devil. Kind of. It's just we end up fighting with who? Each other, Christians. Eventually it gets hard. Someone will offend you. Someone will hurt your feelings. Someone won't call you back on time. Someone will cut you off in groups. Someone will act like they didn't care. Someone will gossip about you behind your back. It'll get hard. Can you endure? And then the next one, do you have a heart that has focus, not the thorny ground, not the materialism, not the sensual needs, not medicating it away? Can you stay focused? So I did all this to come to the end. So what is a fruitful life? If I was just going to sum it up, because I was actually sitting down in a way I could. Well, I've discipled so many people. Yeah, that would be it. That's the fruit of my life. Or I've won so many people to Christ. I get it. That's it. But those seem very mechanical in the ways we describe it. Are you with me? So when I was thinking about my dad, why would I say he has a fruitful life? Well, he had children. Yeah, but if I didn't ever show up and I didn't care, that's not a very fruitful life. The fact I will go down over and over again, even when he doesn't remember who I am, to be with him. That's a fruitful life. It's highly relational. So I'll give you a goal tonight on why to change your heart. What is a fruitful life? I believe it's relational wellness with God, oneself, and others. I think that's fruit. The fruit of the Spirit: joy, love, peace. Just pick peace. Peace with God, peace with myself, and peace with what? Love. Love for God, love for myself, not in some conceited way, but wellness, doing what's best for myself. Love for others. Joy. Joy in the Lord. Blessed knowing his joy is in me. Wow. Joy internally in me despite my circumstances. And I would bring joy to what? Other people's lives. That's what I think a fruitful life is. You're doing more than overcoming an addiction or getting sobriety or overcoming a stronghold. In the end, when you might not remember people anymore and they might not remember you, and they weigh whether your life was fruitful or not, relational wellness with God, oneself, and others.